Hi Stitchy friends, my name is Barb. I am Stitch Brat here on YouTube, Flosstube, and also that's my handle over on Instagram if you want to follow me there. I've just learned that somebody declared brat to be the word of, I guess, 2025, and I looked up what that means, I don't know, in the kind of newfangled context, and I don't know, it's like confident with, I don't know, like an aggressive air or something. And so just remember, my name was Stitch Brat before Brat was word of the year. So anyway, today is Tuesday, November 5th. This is Flosstube number 16. And I am coming to you today from a different location. I've been wanting to kind of change something up, like where I filmed, but in my house it's really hard because there's always people, I'm never alone, and there's just not a lot of good locations to like sort of set up my camera and stuff. So, but today, and I'm out on my sun porch, and I've wanted to film out here for a while, but I mean, it's hard to do it in nice weather because I live in suburbia and there's always somebody mowing or leaf blowing, and it's pretty loud when you're in here. I mean, it can be pretty loud depending on who's doing the yard work. So today seems perfect because it's the middle of the day. I have today off. It's the middle of the day, and as you can see, it's quite cloudy. It's supposed to rain later, although it's warm. So nobody's doing any yard work is the important thing. So I don't know, hopefully nobody will do any yard work. You never know. Some people have lawn services that come by. So if something horrible happens and I have to stop filming and move or take a break or something, we'll just deal with that as it happens. I was excited that maybe I could try to do this today. Also, my husband doesn't know I'm out here doing this. He's upstairs at the moment, so I put a sign up for him to not disturb me. I don't know about your husbands or spouses, but he may well disturb me even though the sign says do not disturb. So we'll just see how it goes. So it's actually been about, I think, 6 weeks since I filmed last, and of course I meant to do it earlier. I don't know, time just gets away from me. And actually my big problem, as I've said before, is just there's just always, my husband and son just always seem to be home when the times that are good for me to film, which is usually on weekends. So like I just never am comfortable taking, you know, the couple hours that I need to get everything set up and just, you know, barricade myself in my home office and get my filming done. And plus, it does take a few minutes to collect my projects and stuff, although that doesn't really take that long. So I just decided today was the day, and it's been too long. So I want to make sure, so it's the beginning of November, so my hope is that I can get in one more floss tube, regular floss tube, before the end of the year, and then I would like to do a WIP parade at the end of the year. I've done my WIP parades previously on my floss anniversaries, which is in the middle of the year, but I would rather sort of be like most people do and do an end of the year, partly because it seems like the right time, you know, closure, and you can kind of go over what you finished or what your plans are for the next year. So that's my plan. Hopefully get one more floss tube in before the end of the year, and then I'll do a WIP parade around the end of the year, or the start of 2025. Wow, that sounds crazy, doesn't it, to be saying that? So today I have, I think, either 14 or 15 WIPs that I've worked on, works in progress, WIPs are works in progress, that I've worked on since the last time that I filmed. As usual, excuse me, my allergies are, I don't know, typically bothering me just a little bit. So I've worked on about 14 things or something. I did have maybe 1 or 2 additional things that I only worked on, I think, like once, and I didn't pull those because this seems like enough stuff to talk about. So I've got kind of a different setup here, so just kind of bear with me and we'll see how it goes. So let's just dive in and we'll see how the whole thing works. Okay, I've got a list, but of course my projects and in my crate are actually in a different order, so we'll see how that goes too. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is my Star Touched Meadow Stitch Along. SAL, S-A-L is Stitch Along. So I've been doing this, it started last November 2023. The last part has been released. I'm just a couple months behind. So I'll show you where I am. I did finish the August block, and I'll show you that. Well, I'll show you the whole thing. So here's what the whole thing looks like. And then the August block is this one, this purple and blue one. And I'll come in closer so you can see that. The colors in that are just really, that one was really fun for me to stitch. Darker shades, sort of jewel tones, really pretty. So this is a Carolyn Manning design, as most of you I think know. She's one of my favorite designers, if not my favorite designer. And as you can see right next to the one that I finished, that is the September block. Or no, I'm sorry, that's August. The one I showed you that I finished was July. So that's the August block that is about 3/4 done there. And the inspiration flower for that is the gladiolus, and then the July flower, the inspiration, I believe, was water lily. So I'm going to hopefully in the next week get that August done, and then I just have September and October, which go in the 2 blank spaces. So my goal is obviously to have this done by the end of the year. And I don't see any, I've actually calculated, you know, how many days I need to spend on each of the remaining blocks to make sure I have enough time to get them done. I mean, they're not difficult to do, but you know, each block is like 77 by 77 full coverage, so it's not an insignificant amount of stitching. But I work on it every day. It's my morning coffee project. I have a project I work on every day with my morning coffee, whether that's half an hour or an hour, however long I get to stitch. And almost all this year, pretty close to all this year, I think it's been the Star Touched Meadow Stitch Along. Okay, so next, oh, and I'm not sure if I said, I'll try to remember to do my fabrics. I'm stitching that on a piece of 18 count pale pink Aida. Yes, and I'm using 2 strands of floss, DMC flosses. I'm just using all the called floor flosses. I haven't changed anything. Okay, so next we have, oh geez. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't go through and make sure my pictures were okay here, and I've got something. Okay, sorry if there's glare on this. This is Stacy Nash Designs Boxwood Manor, and there's 2 really cute designs in this. I've done this, she calls it a thread keep. I think hers comes out a little bit bigger than mine. I'm doing it as a needle book, and this is actually the 3rd time this year I've stitched it, so you're probably sick of seeing it, but I'm going to show it to you again because I have another one finished. I just finished this the other day. So I have another retreat coming up actually this weekend, and I'm going to finish this hopefully into a needle book before then. So I'm going to show this to you up close because I am just wild about this design, which you can probably tell since I've stitched it 3 times. I just think it's beautiful, and in particular I think that basket is just the most amazingly realistic looking basket I have ever seen. Like, I just love it. I might have to steal that basket pattern and use it in something else. So this one I did do a little bit different than the previous 2 that I finished. I picked a different green floss. The other green floss I had been using was really sort of a light green shade, and I wanted something darker, so I just kind of messed around in my stash, and I found like one length of a green, like a darkish green silk and variegated silk. And so I just used that, and it was enough, and I think it looks, excuse me, I think it looks really nice. I did not use any of the called for flosses on this, so I wanted to say that. I just looked at the picture and I tried to pick things from my stash. I was in like a floss club for a while that did like exclusives, you know, they weren't their regular line or whatever. So I have a lot of one-off colors that I have a limited amount of them. So, you know, I like to use them for things like this where I know I'm going to have enough floss. Okay, so that was Boxwood Manor, and the fabric on that I'm stitching that on is a Be Stitch Me linen in 36 count, and the color is Vanilla Latte. And I am in Brandy's fabric club, actually both of her fabric clubs. I'm in the color club and the neutral club, and I get 36 count linen in the neutral club, and that's one I got in the club. And I think she has openings right now, so if you're looking for a fabric club, I would highly recommend checking out Be Stitch Me. Her fabrics are the best, chef's kiss. They are wonderful. They're wonderful to stitch on. They're beautiful to look at. Now, some of the colored ones are maybe a little bit too bright for my taste, but hey, I figure I can always swap with somebody, give them away, sell them, you know, whatever. It's not like it's going to go to waste or I'm going to throw it away or something. Okay. Next, we have another Carolyn Manning, and this one is called Susan, and I'll put a picture in here. This was a fundraiser design that Carolyn put out. She designed this in memory of a friend of hers that died of cancer this summer, and I started a stitch along for this. It's CM Remembrance Sal, and I'll try to run it across the bottom. I always apologize if I can't do it because that's one of my edits I seem to forget how to do from time to time, but I'll try to do it. So if you'd like to start stitching this and join us, the Sal is, you know, sort of never ending, I guess. I mean, I'm certainly still stitching mine. So here's where I am. And anyway, the idea with the Sal is that you stitch it in honor of someone that you know and love who either passed away from cancer or is maybe currently undergoing cancer treatment or is a survivor of cancer, or just because you want to support a good cause. So all those are great reasons, I think, to stitch this. And I'm stitching this, if I didn't say, in memory of my mom who passed away from cancer a number of years ago. And here's where I am. I just love this design, and I also love that it's not too huge. So even though I don't have a ton done, I mean, you know, I just need to keep working on it, and it's very doable size. I'm at the point now where I can't keep going in rounds around that middle, and I need to start working from the edges down. So I'm stitching this on an 18 count Aida in a, I think this is a Rustico, that Rustico color. It's a little bit darker than the oatmeal color. And this one I'm using all of the called for colors, except I believe I did change one of the greens. I'm not positive, but if I did, it's just because I bought the wrong one or something like that, and I probably bought one number off or something, so I just decided to use it. Anyway, if you're interested in that, in joining us, the Sal is the Stitch Along still open, so please join us. Okay, next, this is Act of God. I'll pop a picture in here. This is by Long Dog Samplers. This is a very popular pattern. Many people are stitching it. I'm sure you've seen it. As far as my WIPS, this is what I kind of lovingly call a fan favorite on Instagram. Whenever I show this, it gets crazy number of notices, likes, comments, and it's largely because of the floss and color of the fabric and color, the fabric and floss color combination that I've picked. I mean, they look really nice together, and I'll show you the floss separately in just a minute, but oh boy. Well, I don't have my board. I'm really sorry. I don't have anything to put behind this. Shoot. Okay, well, yikes. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't think about that aspect of this. I'm trying to think what I have that I could put behind this. Nothing. Okay, so I'm just gonna wing it. Here's where I am. I can come in closer on the part that's actually stitched so you can see that better. This is on 40 count Vintage Country Mocha linen by Zweigart. It's one of their printed linens, but I actually just love this color. It gets kind of maligned, but I just love it. And the floss that I'm using, I have a bobbin of it here, which I'll hold up. It's Silks for You, silk floss, and the color, the Silks for You does color numbers instead of names, so this is 181. And I always write on Instagram that it's PR 181, but the PR I found out actually means a hank of this color. So there's other, I think you can get a smaller skein, and it's something 181. It's just not PR. It's whatever their terminology or letters for a smaller amount are. So anyway, I'm stitching this with my friend Gail. She started a stitch along for this design, and it's the Act of God Sal 2024. I'll try to run that across the bottom. And again, now Gail I actually think is more than halfway on hers, maybe even like 3/4. But a lot of us, or several of us that are stitching it with her, are not nearly that far. So if you want to jump on board, the sale is still going on. Just start posting your progress under that hashtag. I love that project, and I don't work on it. I haven't been working on it often enough. I did a post on Instagram talking about this the other day. I've been struggling a little bit with the variegation on some of the motifs, like the animals. I thought I was just going to kind of wing it, and oh, wherever colors land, they land. But I don't know. In reality, it takes a little bit more. I mean, not planning exactly, but thinking about how you want it to come out. So I just wanted to make sure, I want to make sure that I love it before I continue with what I'm doing. So my plan is to kind of put out what I have finished somewhere where I can kind of see it every day for a few days, and then decide for sure, because the other alternative would be to stitch the animals and other like identifiable motifs, trees and things, in a solid color floss. It's a companion color. But one of the reasons I thought this was a good floss for this design is there aren't that many identifiable motifs in Act of God as there are in some of her other ones. There's animals, but there's not tons of little, I don't know, like bugs, and a lot of them she has a lot of little tiny things. And there are fewer of those on this, so it seemed like a better pattern to do a heavily variegated floss. So, okay. All right. My next one is, this is Silhouette Heart. I'll pop a picture in here. This is by Charting Creations, I believe. And this was, I think, was or is a free pattern on their site with purchase. And I think that it's still available. The last time I checked on their site, it was still available, but no promises. But I love this pattern. If you have watched me for any amount of time or followed me on Instagram, you might know that hearts are one of my favorite things to stitch. I just love hearts. And this one's great. So here's where I am on Silhouette Heart. Hey, so what's great about this daylight, this true light, is, you know, my fabric colors are, that's it, boy. That is the fabric color. That's wonderful. No artificial lighting needed. So this is on a Be Stitch Me fabric. This is from the Color Club. So this is a 32 count linen. It's called Nightshade. And it's just a really, like, maybe you can see on this side even better. Like, it's a beautiful lilac-y purple, but then it's got blue tones in it. So it's more like a periwinkle blue maybe, or blueberry blue. And then I'm just going to stitch the whole heart in DMC 333. So it's not variegated, it's just a plain old purple floss that I think looks great with this. And this has been sort of my, not exactly my travel pattern, but like if I go somewhere that I'm gonna be waiting around, like a doctor's office for an hour, or sometimes when I have a pedicure or something, I'll take a project. And this is great for that because I only have to bring one color of floss. I only have to bring one page of a chart. I can even fold it up. I mean, it's pretty, you know, it's pretty simple. So that's a great travel project. It is big. It's bigger than what you would think. So it'll be a while before that's done. Okay, the next one is, this is called Soup of the Day. I'll pop a picture in here. This is designed by Oh My Stitches shop on Etsy. She has wonderful wreath designs. If you need a wreath type design with words in it for any kind of an occasion, she's your girl. I mean, she has funny stuff. She has plenty of snarky things if you're into that, which I like her snarky things. And then she has lots of things that are just like this one. I mean, this, you know, kind of clever. And then she has like nice ones too. So I actually had hoped to finish this month because I don't have very much left on it. I did not finish it, but here's where I am. This one works to have the project bag behind it. Most of them won't, but this is small. So all three of the flower groupings are done, and all I have left are leaves to finish up that, to complete the wreath, and then the words inside. The leaves go pretty quickly. I mean, the flowers actually have quite a few colors in them. They're more, I guess, intense stitching than what they maybe look like. But the leaves are very simple, and most of them only have 2 or 3 colors. So I just need to get the leaves done and then do the wording. And I actually want to finish this into some kind of a round frame and put it into my kitchen. I am a wine drinker, so Soup of the Day wine just suits me just fine. I think it's a very clever design. I love it. So I just need to keep working on that. That is on I'm using the called for colors. They're just DMC. And that is on a piece of sort of scrap linen that I had. It's a 32 count, kind of a cream linen. It's not a Zweigart, but it's a really nice linen that I don't know what it is, but I do wish I knew what it was because I would love to be able to get more of it, but I unfortunately do not know. Okay, I'm going to do this one next. Actually, let me see a minute. Yeah, all right, I'll do this one next. Okay. Next is one of my many Carolyn Mannings Shooting Star WIPS. Shooting Star is the name of one of the collections of designs on Carolyn Mannings' website. The idea is they're inspired by, I think the quilt pattern is actually called the Ohio Star, maybe. I don't think it's called Shooting Star, but her interpretation she's calling the Shooting Star. So she has dozens of Shooting Star patterns, and they're different colorways. The same basic idea of how the stars are formed, but different colorways. And then depending on how she uses the various colors in the colorway, she gets different quilt looking patterns. I mean, you know, just like quilts, depending on how you piece them, you can have the same design with different colors and have a lot of different looks. She does the same thing. Excuse me. So, oh, did I put a picture in here if I didn't already? So this one is, I think, this and Beachcomber are my two oldest Shooting Star WIPS. So this is, my goal is to get, the next Shooting Stars I finish will be this one and Beachcomber, and I'm trying to work on them as much as I can to push them to a finish. So here's where I am on Home for Christmas. So I'm actually pretty pleased with where I am on this. I've worked a lot on this in the last month. I sort of picked it up again because I just, for whatever reason, I felt like working on Christmas stuff, or maybe just with Christmas colors, I guess was what it was. And so I picked this up, and I'm just loving it. So as you can see, I'm trying to finish up that last corner, and then I'll kind of fill in the middle. So I'm over half done. I mean, I don't really know an exact percentage. This isn't on Pattern Keeper or anything, but I think it looks great. I love the colors. I'll come in a little closer so you can see them better. Oh, God, aren't they beautiful? So, you know, these are like Victorian Christmas colors. I mean, there's that dark wine color and 3 or 4 shades of gold and those gorgeous greens. And then this uses some different white shades too. There's 739, there's a cream, but then there's also 3865, so just an off-white. And then I'm stitching this on a 32 count Lugana. I believe the color is light green. I believe the color is light green. And I think that this one is a Witchelt color, not Zweigart. I always say that, I don't know, I think I used to think Lugana was Zweigart and Jobelin was Witchelt or something, but that's not true. Both Zweigart and Witchelt make Lugana in different colors, and I actually think if you wanted to get that exact color, I think that is actually a Witchelt color. I'm sure I bought it on 1-2-3 Stitch. Okay. Okay, this is one of my more recent starts. This is Strawberry Thief. I will put a picture in here. This is another one that has really become a favorite on, a fan favorite on Instagram. This, I'm sure most of you recognize, the design is a William Morris, interpretation of a William Morris textile design. And it's charted by Whoopie Cat, WHOOPICAT, and she has a shop on Etsy. And if you have never checked her out, man, run, don't walk, to make your fingers run, don't walk, to her Etsy shop, because she has some fantastic patterns. So my friend Carla, Stitch Me Sane, and I had talked about stitching Strawberry Thief for over a year for sure. And just, I don't know, we both have too many WIPs already. But then she just gifted me the pattern for my birthday, so what could I do? I had to start it, right? So here's where I am. Oh, let me see if I can, this I can definitely make better. I'll just double the fabric. There we go. It's still a little bit see-through, I'm sorry. Oh, this is going to frustrate me. Sorry, let me see if this helps. I don't know why I didn't think to bring my board down. Okay, that's much better. Okay, Strawberry Thief. So there you can see what I have done. I was working on that big flower and the leaves right at the bottom of it, and then Carla told me she'd started on one of the birds. So then I had to start on one of the birds. So I've started on the bird there. There's like 13 colors of tans, that clay color, I mean, and various shades of that between the birds and the flowers in this. So there's more color changes in this than what you might think. But this is, I'm going to show you this fabric up close. Okay, this is another Bestitch Me fabric. This is 32 count linen. The color is Blue Moon. And I'm just going to tell you, this color is every bit as luscious as it looks on camera. I love, love, love this. And even though it is a dark blue, I mean, it's actually a little bit darker than what I think it's photographing, than what's coming out on camera. But I have absolutely no trouble seeing it in any light, whereas I can't really stitch like on 32 count, like dark brown linen or black linen. No troubles on this. I don't know. Brandy's dyeing process, I will say, does not seem to cause her fabrics to shrink a ton. So you can still see the holes between the threads and stuff pretty easily. Anyway, that's Bestitch Me fabric, Blue Moon, if I didn't say, and I'm using all the called for colors, which are, I believe, they're all DMC colors. There's maybe 20 or 25 colors in that. Love that. Love that design. Okay. Okay, we're at 33 minutes. That's not too bad. I'm probably about half done. Not too bad. I didn't know how fast this was going to go. I think the temperature might be dropping a little bit outside because maybe it's going to rain. Yeah, it is. It's going to rain maybe sooner than what I thought. I can kind of feel it. Okay, I thought I had it. Let me see if I have the cover page on this one. I do. Okay, next I have, this is Remember Me by Teresa Kogut. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sampler. I'm a member of her Patreon, and I got it when she released it on Patreon, but you can buy it now as a paid chart. If you've done any Teresa Kogut patterns, you know her patterns are beautiful, but they are generally very stitch heavy. She usually has a lot of completely filled in motifs, and this one is certainly no exception. So hopefully, let's see if this will, yikes. Sorry, I hope I didn't mess up. I just jiggled my mic. Okay. Okay, here's Remember Me. There's where I am. So I've got one whole side of that intense border completely done, and the other side is almost done. And I'm rounding that corner, and I'm going to get to the vase next on the bottom. I did decide to take a little break. The border can get really intense to stitch. So I did start working up here. I finished the lettering. I had some of it done, and then I started on that strip of what kind of looked like large X's across. And I may do a few motifs in there before I go back to the border. So one of the reasons this is sort of intense stitching for me is that I'm stitching this on 37 count linen from Legacy Linen. And I'm sorry, I always forget the color. It has like bee, the word bee in it. It's like bees. I was going to say bee's nest. I'm pretty sure that's not it. I don't know. I can't think of it now. But it's a cream color, but it has kind of a pinkish cast to the background. But it's a 37 count, and for some unknown reason, I decided to try to use 2 strands with it. And Legacy Linen, you really can't. You have to go down in the number of strands you would normally use, because their fabrics they're beautiful. They have beautiful colors, and they're beautiful hand to them, beautiful to stitch on. But they're tight. They're really tight, and it can be hard to do all those heavily stitched areas. So sometimes I get tired and I take a break. I take a break from doing one of the heavily stitched flowers or whatever, and I work on something else. Just because it can be so hard on that fabric. Oh my gosh, all my things are falling over. Okay. And I believe, because that was a Patreon pattern, on her Patreon patterns, Teresa tends to use mostly DMC colors, I think, so that they're cost efficient for everybody. And everybody can easily get the threads, like just by hopefully going to a craft store. They don't have to order them or anything. So I have all the called for colors. I'm just using all the called for colors on that. Okay, next is, this is my one new start. This is another shooting star design. Maybe, yeah, I think I showed my other one last time. So I think I just have this one new start. This is Avocado Toast, another shooting star designed by Carolyn Manning. And this one was just kind of a start on a whim, but I've had this in my to start pile for a while, but I hadn't decided on fabric, and then, I don't know, one day I just decided to get some fabric for it, and I started it. So here's where I am. I only worked on this a few sessions. I'm not sure how many. Aren't those colors beautiful? Oh, like this pattern is going to be amazing. So I am stitching, okay, that's really the color of the fabric. So this fabric is a 32 count Lugana that I ordered from My Vintage Needle Arts on Etsy. And she has beautiful hand-dyed fabrics. And this one is called Gingerbread. And I don't know how she does her fabrics. Like, I mean, if they're printed or what, but because the other side is actually the same color, but it's not modeled, which is usually the sign of a printed fabric. But I think she calls them hand dyed on her website, so I'm not exactly sure how but they're beautiful. I don't care. However she does it, I don't mind. But again, love those colors. Want to get back to working on that. And Avocado Toast is one I have not really seen anybody else on Instagram or anything stitching. I'm not super active on Facebook, so if there's somebody in her Facebook group that's stitching it, that could be, but I haven't seen anybody on Instagram stitching it. So if you want to start it and stitch with me, that'd be great. Okay. I was actually thinking about not showing this one because I only worked on it a couple times, but what the heck. Oops. Oh, this is hard to get out here. Sorry, let me just do this a minute. Okay, this is Louise Laer, 1901, by Reflet des Soies is the designer, obviously a French company. And this is a reproduction sampler. And those little French girls from the turn of the century, I don't know. I'm not sure if this one says her age or not. If it is, I can't read it. But, you know, typically girls did samplers anywhere from 8 to 15 years old. I mean, I'm going to tell you, I can barely do this now. I don't know. I don't think I could have done it when I was 12 years old. More power to them, I guess, huh? Okay, so this I think I worked on. This is one of the samplers I worked on for Sampler September. Also Remember Me, I did too. Okay, so this is, okay, this is not going to show well. I'm really sorry. I'll show the whole thing and then I'll fold it up because the light's just going to come through. But I'll try to show as much as I can. Okay. I mean, the bottom, that's the bottom. So you can see I'm trying to get the borders finished. So I'm going to double it up so that you can at least see the part that I've got. Okay, that's better. I actually did work on the borders, one of the borders this time, and got a couple flowers done. I'm not sure how many stitching sessions I did on this one, but you know, I mean, well, sorry. I mean, these flowers are no joke. Like, one flower and leaves generally takes me like 2 nights to stitch. So if I worked on this 4 nights in September, I probably got 2 flowers done. Or if I did 6 nights, I don't think I did 6, but anyway, this is on my list though to move along next year. I really want to get farther on this, and I love this sampler. Plus, it goes faster the more I work on it because, you know, I remember the symbols and the colors, and I have developed sort of a method of stitching those border flowers that works, like what order I do the colors in. And then every time I put it away and I have to get it back out, I have to, you know, kind of relearn all that. So I want to just keep it out and keep going on it and get it done at some point. So that's one of my goals for next year. But I'm stitching that on 36 count antique ivory linens, Weigart linen, in the color Antique Ivory, which is kind of it's a beige, but it's got, I don't know, to me it's got like grayish undertones. It's not as creamy as like ivory or some of their other white or light neutral colors. And I am using the DMC colors on this. It is charted for Avocado silks, and if I was starting another Reflet des Soies or I was starting this one today, I might spring for the silks. But at the time I had never used silks, and I calculated that buying all the silk that was required would have been over $200, and I just didn't, I mean, I kept thinking, what if I hate stitching with silk, or I can't handle it, it's too hard for me, I've spent $200 on floss alone. So I just decided to do the DMC, and frankly, I think it looks great. I mean, I have no issues with the colors or anything, and it's fine. I would like to sometime do a reflet de soie and buy the Aversois colors for that. Maybe one that doesn't have 60 some colors like I think that one does. So or maybe one's a little smaller, although their reproduction samplers tend to be big. Okay. Oh, this is I think I have a cover. I think I have a cover page on this one. Gotta find it. Yes. Okay, this is Alice in Wonderland, just Alice, by Donna Stitch on Etsy. She is a Korean designer, I believe. And she does these, well, among other things, I think, she does these fairy tale based patterns. And within the design itself, it's all full coverage. So it's pretty intense stitching, but they're great designs. She has a whole series of them, and my friend Carla, Stitch Me Sane, told me that Donna Stitch had taken a break from designing for a while, but apparently she's back designing and has some new patterns. So if you like her stuff, be sure to check that out. I haven't made it over there yet. I will. But like, I don't need any new patterns, you know what I'm saying? Okay, here's where I am on Alice though. This is another one I'm stitching with Carla. And we have a sal for this one too. It is the Everything Alice sal, I believe. So any Alice in Wonderland themed pattern, you can use that hashtag. So here's where I am. I've been working along this side where the little stars are there. Gosh, I need to finish that Cheshire Cat, don't I? He looks pretty horrible with no eyes. I need to finish him. I promise I'll do that soon. I think I said that last time. This is a great thing to pull out when you want some comfort stitching because, as you can see, it has big blocks of color. The only thing for me is that for some unknown reason, I decided to stitch this on 32 count opalescent white Lugana. And I've used opalescent fabric before, but I don't think I've ever used opalescent Lugana. And I will not ever be buying another piece. I think it has to do with the fact that Lugana is an even, I mean, it's an even weave, so but it's, you know, tightly woven. Those Aurora Borealis threads in there that make the opalescence just wreak havoc with my eyes. I mean, I can work on this. I mean, it's not like it's impossible to work on, but I really can only work on it for about an hour to an hour and a half. And then I just notice that my eyes I just get really fatigued and maybe even start getting a headache. So I just try to work on it for an hour and then I put it away. So I'd rather work on it multiple nights for an hour a night than try to have a big marathon session and, you know, like ruin my eyesight, I guess, or give myself a headache. Okay, a couple more shooting stars, I think. Oh yes, that's all I have left. 2 more shooting stars and I'm done. Okay, this is Peacock Topaz, another Carolyn Mannings shooting star design. I don't remember when I started this one. I don't think this one is that old, but I also try to not remember these things so that I don't feel too bad about not having more done. So the colors in this are beautiful, and these kind of remind me of that July block of the Star Touched Meadow sal. You can see similar colors, those beautiful, rich, dark pinks, teals. Some of the same colors are in there, some different, but some of the same ones. So I'll bring that in close where you can see. Aren't those just gorgeous? And I love those light greens in there. I just think that looks so cool. So my fabric on this one is 32 count Lugana, stitching with the DMC called for colors, and I think this is, it's either blue or light blue Lugana. I think it's light blue because I think, I'm not sure there is a color called blue, but I think the next darker blue is like pretty dark. It's like called azure or something like that, and it's quite a bit darker. Okay, my last WIP for today. Well, this went faster than I thought with 14 WIPs. This is Flamboyance of Flamingos, another shooting star design. Now this is from Carolyn Manning's newest sub-collection of shooting stars, which is her collective noun series. So Flamboyance of Flamingos is apparently what a group of flamingos is actually called. And then she has some other ones. There's a fluther of jellyfish, a parade of elephants. Gosh, I forget what some of the other ones are. They're all really fun. And then she's used the colors from that animal or bird or fish or whatever it is as the inspiration. So this is another fabric that I got from that My Vintage Needle Arts. And this one I am started with my friend Jamie, Teeny Weeny Stitches, here on Flosstube, although she hasn't made a Flosstube in a while, but she does have videos, and also on Instagram. So Jamie and I started this together, and we are using the same fabric, only I believe she is using the side that isn't modeled. So here's Flamboyance of Flamingos, and the color of this fabric is called Peony. And isn't it beautiful? Like I said, I'm using the modeled side. It's not real heavy modeling, so I think it looks fine with this. I like the non-modeled side too. And I kind of like that Jamie and I are doing slightly different things. So I'll hold this up. You can see the great colors. Isn't that just the prettiest? So that's Flamboyance of Flamingos. Again, using the called for colors on that. Okay, that's all my WIPs. Let me just go over my list and make sure I didn't forget to bring any out here. I think that's it. Okay, so let's just talk. I'm at 53 minutes, so I'll just talk for a couple minutes about my plans. I don't really have any firm plans for November. I'm going to a retreat here in Michigan at the end of this week. So I'm trying to kind of get ready for that, some simple stitching kind of things. Jingle Ball is coming up beginning of December. If you don't know what the Jingle Ball is, are you living under a rock? No, I'm just kidding. If you don't know what the Jingle Ball is, go to jingleball.net and you can sign up for their newsletter and you can find out all about it. It's hosted by Stephanie Webb of Lindy Stitches, and I think this is like the 3rd or 4th year that she's done it. And she and like 12 or 13 other designers get together and they host a fun time. It's a virtual stitching weekend. There's virtual classes. There's tables to meet up with other stitchers. There's entertainment. There's a bunch of different things. So this is the first year that I've been able to take any classes because I previously only owned an iPad and I didn't have like a laptop. And Stephanie recommended or has recommended that if you're going to take a class, that you connect with a laptop or a PC, because she said the microphone functions and some other things sometimes don't work like on an iPad. So I'd never been able to take a class before, but this year I bought myself a laptop over the summer, so yay. So I'm taking 2 classes. The classes, there's an option that where you get the PDF pattern, and those will never run out. Like, you could go sign up today and get those classes. There are kitted classes where the designers are actually send you a kit with all the materials, which are obviously more. Those are limited. There probably are some kits left in some of those classes, so if you're interested, go check it out. I'm doing one kitted class and then one that's a PDF class. It's little stockings, and can't wait to get started. I'm going to try to get some pre-stitching done for that, hopefully get started on that this weekend. So I'm looking forward to that. That's the first weekend of December. Let's see. Oh, I couldn't read my own handwriting. So as far as end of the year goals, I have some smaller WIPs that I've targeted to try to get done by the end of the year. I'm definitely going to get the Star Touched Meadow stitch along piece done by the end of the year. I mean, that's a huge goal of mine, but that'll get done. And then, like I said, I've got a few smaller pieces that I've targeted. I'm trying to not start things, but I probably am going to have at least one more. I'll probably have one more start before the end of the year. And then I haven't decided anything about New Year's Eve, or if I do the New Year's Eve 12 by 12, which I'm sorry, I don't remember who hosts that now, but you either start 12 new projects in the 12 hours before the new year, or you can also work on 12 WIPs. So I think if I do that this year, I would try to do the 12 WIPs thing, or maybe 6 WIPs for me. I'm definitely not having 12 starts, because no. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I'm not going to do a teeny topic because we're just about at an hour, so this is kind of a good time to cut off. Plus, nobody has blown a leaf or mowed a blade of grass, so I feel very fortunate that we haven't been interrupted by any kind of noise. My husband hasn't come down. My child is still at work, so everything seemed to have worked out today, so hopefully. So I will just plan on seeing you in a month or so, and in the meantime, as we start the holiday season, I don't really know what to say. I find the holiday season to be very stressful, even though my kids are grown and I don't have all that angst about all the stuff you need to do with young kids. You know, there's still expectations, and I try to not overdo it, but I like Christmas, and it's hard to, I think it's hard for everybody to make things manageable, but I'm going to try again this year to not overdo it, and keep things manageable. One thing I do not do is plan a lot of cross-stitched gift items for people because I just cannot deal with that kind of stress of those kind of deadlines. I might have something in mind, like long-term, oh, this would be a great Christmas gift for so-and-so, and then when I finish it, I just wait to the next Christmas to give it to them. But I try not to, unless it's something really small. I don't go there. But anyway, however you celebrate and start the holiday season, I hope that works out for you. I know a lot of people are already decorating for Christmas. So in any case, especially at this time of year, try to slow down, appreciate what's around you, and take life one stitch at a time. And I'll see you in a month or so, Stitchy friends. Bye.